You're listening to Playing the Next Level, WCGA's official podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Anum Mirza and you are listening to and watching Playing the Next Level, WCGA's official podcast. Today I have with me my dear friend, Cristina Guida La Licata.
Bravissimo.
So glad to have you here, Cristina. So Cristina, for everyone, is a marketing and communications consultant, has an amazing, phenomenal career in the automobile industry, is an emotional intelligence practitioner, an author, and of course, a motivational speaker. It definitely motivates me. Thank you so much for coming, Cristina.
Thank you so much, Anum. It's so beautiful to be here with you.
You're
amazing. Such a dear friend to me too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's such a coincidence. It's a crazy coincidence how we met as well. It was.
But do you think it's a coincidence?
I don't think so.
Exactly, because you know my life motto, right?
Nothing
is by chance. Yes.
There you go. Amazing. So Cristina, you've had such an amazing career, and the main reason why I wanted to bring you here today is because you've been so phenomenal in your career journey. You've worked with brands like Ferrari, Stellantis, Alfa Romeo, navigated careers from a regional level to a global level, and again, been very successful in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
It mustn't have been easy, though.
No, it wasn't easy. And it started as a coincidence, which is not a coincidence. My ex-boyfriend at that time sent my curriculum to Ferrari. I didn't even know. And then I received a phone call at home. And this is how I started in the automotive industry. I love cars, but I've never been so deeply mad about it. But I had that opportunity to be in such a good, nice environment. I started with Ferrari, so I was really very young because I had 23 years old at that time. And the opportunity to be surrounded by men actually helped me to grow somehow and to build my shoulders, because we were kind of surrounded by situations where you really need to put yourself out there, but sometimes you're a woman, so you need to be also very careful about it. But it was through the different experiences that I had throughout my career. So not living in Italy helped me a lot. Already for my studies, I studied Chinese, so I can speak Mandarin. So I had opportunity also to study abroad, and my parents always brought with them, traveling. And the opportunity to live and work abroad definitely helped me to build my own personality. I would say that it has to be and start within you to build your own self. And definitely the challenges and the difficulties that you can face, especially in a male-dominated industry, those are the things that can really shape you in your heart. But you have to be ready. I didn't know I was ready, to be honest. I failed quite a few times. Although you said I have a successful career, I'm actually in a transitional moment as we speak, because I left the corporate world in November last year. And my book came out a few months later. And now I have this new path, this new journey that I'm very excited to start.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
great. So specifically with your career journey, were navigating a male-dominated industry, you must have faced some very specific challenges. Can you talk me through some of those?
Well, at the beginning, it was very difficult actually to speak, because I'm a communication person like you.
Yeah.
And I've always felt the need for my voice to be heard. And many men, they want to actually have their voices heard rather than our voices. So for me, it was definitely the most challenging part, because I've always wanted to say something about, people, about the work, about anything, but I've never had that chance. But I've always given it a try. So I think that ultimately, if you follow yourself and you follow your true nature and you keep that authenticity at heart, you're able to pursue what exactly is your dream. And I know today that my calling, my purpose on earth is a specific purpose. But if it wasn't for me going through all those challenges, I would have never been able to literally awaken, because I believe I'm actually in the middle of an awakening moment of my life. as we speak.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone? So I work in a very male-dominated industry, and it's definitely been challenging for me to navigate like my career, even though, again, I consider myself quite successful. I've done quite well. But it did come with its fair share of challenges. And I also struggle to raise my voice or speak the truth when I felt like I always feared that I'd sound dumb. I'm not technical enough. Maybe I don't know enough yet, so I can't put my name forward for certain things. How did you overcome that?
So, first of all, I have started to understand that men and women are different, but not in a negative thing, in a very positive thing. So, everybody is actually unique. And what I learned to do, it's because I'm an emotional person. I put emotions really at the center of everything, meaning I cannot be ashamed if I feel certain emotions while I'm in a meeting or doing a presentation. Even today, I am very emotional because I can feel every centimeter of my body is feeling this moment, right? And I believe this can only be a plus. So for me, what I can tell everybody who's watching, or young ladies, students, or women who are struggling in this specific moment, to not knowing what's how they can be, maybe they think they have to be better than men. Why better? We are exactly equal, right? So we just need to be able to put ourselves there as we are, so keeping our authenticity. And in my case, my signature, I would say, is really speaking from heart, so emotions, so connection with people through those emotions.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, I can definitely connect with that because, as you said, we're different in our own way. We're unique. And what I can bring to the table as a female is different to what my colleagues can bring to the table. And I honestly agree with you, because I remember from my career, there was a point where I stopped trying to be like everyone else. And I mean men, because that's all I saw. And I went to actually just being me, who was this person, very personable, could build relationships and which is one of the reasons why I'm very successful in my career as a salesperson.
Exactly.
I'm in sales.
Exactly.
And sales is all about building relationships. And that was my strength. But I too held myself back, Cristina, I have to admit, for a long time. Working in, I work in manufacturing now. I held myself back for a long time. I didn't put myself forward for promotions because I thought, it's not my industry. It's very male dominated. I'm not technical enough. But then when I finally did get out of my way and worked on my strengths, which was, I'm a female who's really good at building relationships and has had a successful career in sales, just not in this industry. So I kind of got out of my own way and put my name forward, and nothing was in my way after
because
that.
Sometimes, we have that limiting belief. Like mine was that I'm not good enough. So always, looking for validation from others. And I have to say, it starts from where actually we were born, because it starts from your family, right? So I truly admire my father, but I always wanted to somehow please him and have validation from him. And the fact that then I had the opportunity to work in an environment surrounded by men, put myself even more out there, like, okay, I have to be validated by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, men in the room. But it was only in the very recent, let's say, past, that I truly started my transformational journey. And this book is kind of the beginning of my new life. But if it wasn't for all that I went through, I would have never been able to be the woman that I'm becoming today.
That's amazing. So, Cristina, tell me, coming back to, your limiting belief, because that's one question that I would definitely ask all my guests. It's like, what is that one limiting belief that you have or had, and how did you overcome it? So how did you overcome that? You told me about the limiting belief that you're not good enough. I'm sure so many women can resonate with that. How did you overcome that?
So in my case, everything started from illness, because I got sick 6 years ago. That was kind of the very start of this transformational journey. I've always thought that there was something within me that needed to be addressed, but I felt that my voice was actually trapped. So that limiting belief of I'm not good enough was literally trapped in my throat. So that's why I got sick. And it was not just the physical suffocation. I had a disease called Graves' disease. It's an autoimmune disease that attacks the thyroid. So it's a form of hyperthyroidism. I felt I was like running a marathon for like 360 hours a day. My heart was palpitating. It was horrible. But I didn't really address it immediately because I was losing weight. So I was actually very happy to lose weight. I always had like, I guess you're smiling, so you understand.
I've had a very dysfunctional relationship with my weight as well.
A very difficult relationship with my body. Now it's better. But at that time, I actually waited 6 months before actually seeing a doctor, only because my mom, my dear mom, told me to go, and now was time to go. Anyway, fast forward, I had to go through that physical suffocation, which ultimately I was actually on a plane coming back to Dubai from Milan, from my home country, where I felt also a mental suffocation. So I couldn't literally breathe, not just physically, but also in my mind and in my soul. So this is then was the start of the first psychotherapy session. So for me, going to therapy was kind of the start of this little light. In fact, the subtitle of the book is Fear Not, Darkness is the Brightest Light, right? Because when you are in the deepest darkness, you can really somehow see even the smallest light, because even if it's very small, imagine a sky full of stars, right? You don't really appreciate the beauty of everything because there are so many stars in the sky. But imagine a pitch dark and just one little star that is going to guide you out. This is what helped me. So it was incredible. So this is how it started. This is how I was able to start that inner journey, which helped me to understand that I need to love myself first. I'm the only person who can validate Cristina. I don't need anybody else to validate me. So it has to start within you. That's why it's called On a Journey Within Me, Within You, because it's actually within us that everything starts.
Yeah, we have to look within ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because you said in the beginning of our podcast, you said, I felt like my voice wasn't heard. I felt like I needed to voice, whatever I had inside me. I felt trapped. And then you were diagnosed with the disease that attacked your thyroid, which
because
is
our body,
your throat.
Yes.
Which is your body knew.
Absolutely.
And it was absorbing everything, all the energy. And it's often I hear this term, disease is dis-ease. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're just giving me a living, breathing example of how that actually turns out.
Absolutely.
So it got to that stage where you actually got sick. Mm-hmm. How can we avoid getting to that stage? How can we figure this out way before that dis-ease actually becomes a disease in a way?
We really need to listen to our body, because our body is indeed our voice. So if I was able to really listen to every single signal that my body was giving me, I would have been able to get to a stage where a full thyroidectomy wasn't necessary, because I could have had, medication and taken medication earlier. So definitely that is the thing that you need to do. But also what I would recommend doing is don't be afraid to look at yourself at the mirror, because I call it the mirror talk. For me, it's something so powerful. Thanks to my healing therapist, definitely she told me that there is no better listener than yourself. So if you're not very familiar in like going the street and talking to yourself because you think that you're crazy, just put a mirror in front of you and go ahead and talk to yourself. This is actually how I have written, for example, a chapter of my second book, because there is also another book
on. We're looking forward to that.
On its way. But anyway, that's not the topic of the conversation. But it's very important to talk to yourself. And because you can also hug yourself if you need a hug. Why do you need somebody else? We need to love ourselves. But it wasn't easy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't born with this in my mind. Oh my God, I know everything. Cristina is the universe. Absolutely not. It went through very painful journey, but it was my commitment to myself which led me to today. So, yeah.
Wow. So, we talked about your career, and now we've gone on to, you figuring out like what was holding you back all these years. I want to talk about a very specific point in your career, which was when you went from a regional sales manager to a global manager. Now, within the WCGA community, I mean, even me, you can say, we have women that are in great positions or in, mid-level in their career, but they want to take that jump. They want to be noticed for director position. Say, for example, my next role will be VP or director.
Yeah.
How did you make that jump from regional manager to global manager? What did you do? Can you talk me through specifics for that journey?
So I have to say that it's important to be surrounded by the right people, true leaders. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be surrounded by two men. And specifically, there was this person who was my manager at that time. And he gave me the promotion from regional to global manager. But if it wasn't for that person to believe in me, sometimes it is a bit difficult, to get that promotion because there are so many variables. And nowadays, you don't truly find people with good heart and good intention, meaning they really want you to succeed. And if you succeed, it's going to be a very good, domino effect on the entire team and on the leader himself as well. So finding someone as a mentor, I believe is definitely key because you can learn from the best. You can learn from someone who can actually help you to, go ahead in your professional career. But you have also to be lucky enough to be surrounded by the right people. Yeah. And I have to say that I was lucky enough to be surrounded by the right people. Then always believe in yourself, that we can make it. Even if there is no progress has been made, no matter what. So even if you think that you're stuck, you don't move, you don't go anywhere, if you truly believe that that's your path, maybe you're going to be stuck in that specific position in that company, but something better, greater, and bigger is going to come. I mean, look for me. I mean, I was definitely happy in the corporate world, and a year ago, looking back, I would have never thought that I would have, been a freelancer. I mean, an author of a book, actually a second one now, because this one is self-published, but the second one, actually a publisher believed in me. So,
amazing.
so I'm going to publish it, with a publishing company. And then a third one is in the making. And then the motivational speaker and then the emotional intelligence practitioner. I would have never thought that a person is actually able to do such a change in such a short time. But if we want something and we truly want it in our heart, so it's a pure intention, we're going to make it. So even in sadness, there is always a smile.
Amazing. So with regards to, we've covered your career aspect and we've touched upon your book briefly.
Yeah.
You mentioned emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you a very direct question around emotional intelligence, which is how important is emotional intelligence at work?
For me, it's extremely important. Everybody knows about IQ, the intelligent quotient, but not everybody is actually practicing EI, emotional intelligence. Because, as I said at the beginning, emotions are considered at work something that it's a negative aspect. You shouldn't put your emotions on the table because emotions equal weakness. That's not true. You have to be able, of course, to control your emotion, but also to use the emotions to your own advantage. Because there is no such a thing or better thing than establishing a connection with the person that you have in front of you. Create empathy between people that is going to really help you to succeed at work. And it's not with, being aggressive or shout that you're going to get someone out of people. Yeah. You have to know who you have in front of you. You need to understand that I am, for example, on a certain emotional level. And you need to understand also your leader, your peer, your manager, everybody in the room, at what emotional level they are in order to establish a relationship. So the emotional intelligence practitioner certification that I've taken very recently really helped me to understand that what people always thought about Cristina, that is an emotional person, so she may not be able to succeed because she's too emotional, because I've been told I'm too emotional. Absolutely not. You can indeed succeed. And what I want to do is, since I'm receiving so much, I want to give it back to others. And I want to give it back with exactly the language and the vocabulary that I know the most, which is through emotions.
Great. So what advice have you received, or did you receive along the way that you wish you received earlier?
Oh, okay. That I received earlier. I think it's about the validation, because if I was able to understand that we don't have to be people pleaser, I would have probably concentrated more on myself, knowing myself, instead of always knowing the others to please others.
Yeah.
So that for me is kind of something that I would have wanted to receive before. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And do you have any regrets throughout your career?
No.
Nothing?
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Yes, because I truly believe that there is no right and wrong. So even a wrong person or something that made us cry, upset, or whatever, is actually coming our way for us, not to us. And they are lessons. So we need to learn from those lessons. And I would have never been able to be here today if it wasn't for that. So
I say the exact same thing. I always say, if I even took a different turn, I would not be sitting here right now.
Yeah,
Even if I walked a different way or got into a different elevator or anything, I wouldn't be here right now.
Do you remember when we were supposed to meet and we never met?
And we never met.
But
and then
we're meeting now.
Exactly. That's a crazy story on its own. It really is.
Because there is always a reason for everything.
Yeah. It was, I'm happy to share that. We were supposed to meet when I wanted you to be a speaker for a male-dominated industries panel. And I tried to connect with you, and you were working for Stellantis at that point, and we weren't able to get you on board.
Yeah.
And then we both went away for Christmas, came back, and then we planned on meeting. You messaged me saying, I want to meet you in January. Yeah. And then we ended up meeting, just recently, right?
Very recently, a few weeks ago.
And then it was after you'd written your book, and it was completely different.
Yeah.
The reasons that
I would have never mentioned my book before, because at that time, back then, my book was not even born.
Exactly. So it was a completely different reason. But we had to meet for this, and that's what happened.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Cristina, there's so much that everyone can learn from you, especially, WCGA, the whole community with career women. Each and every one of them is at a different stage, and they're probably listening to this right now, trying to get as much out of you as they can so that they can apply it to their own career stages. What advice would you give someone that is feeling stuck in their career and also doesn't know their purpose? This is a really important question.
So first of all, sit in it. Stay there still and sit in that sadness. Sit in there. Cry if you need to cry. Shout if you need to shout. Sit in it. I've done it so many times, but till today, I have some low moments. I'm not just up, because, energy is energy, but it's so important, so crucial to stick in that sadness and understand, because we need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. It is through our vulnerabilities and being fragile that you have the opportunity to really learn about yourself. Then take a very nice piece of paper. I'm a creative person, so I like to draw. I like to write. So I create my own visual board. So maybe day one, it's empty because you don't know what to write. You sit in your sadness and you cry, you think you're desperate and life is, everything is wrong for you. Fine, it's okay. But give yourself time to go through that sadness, because that white piece of paper is going to give you, it's that light in the darkness. Because one day you're going to wake up and you say, oh, maybe I want to do that. What truly, deeply, it's in me that I want to give to others. In my case, my calling is to help and inspire others to become better version of themselves. And I understand that I want to do it through my books. I want to do it through the workshops that I'm preparing and conducting for the emotional intelligence, for example, and to help leaders, to help executives, to help even, because in my case, I believe that everybody, the entire workforce, should actually benefit an emotional intelligence workshop, because this is so important for everyone.
For sure.
And then consultancy to help brands, to help clients, to achieve their own business goals. So that is my calling. But it starts with you visualizing it and manifesting it on a daily basis. And even if you don't know it today, it's gonna come at what point. If the intention is pure, if you know exactly in your heart, the subconscious mind will bring it to the conscious mind.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone struggles with. We're normally operating from such a space of fear rather than a space of receiving.
Yes.
And everyone that I speak to, they will message me saying, I'm looking for a job. Can you please help? Can you send, these are the industries that I've worked in. I'm open for everything.
Yeah.
And when you're sending that message to the universe, I know that you talk to the universe quite a bit.
Yes, I do.
So, I always say to people, can you please, and WCGA members, can you please be more specific? What is it that you're looking for?
Exactly.
Is it, be specific, job titles, industries, career stage, because people won't remember so many industries that you've worked with in a generalization. But if you're specific, when that other person who's heard your story is in a room full of an opportunity that is relevant, they'll think of you straight away, but they won't think of 5 people who've just said, I can work on anything.
Exactly.
So how can WCGA members be specific in what they want when they're asking?
They need to listen to themselves. They really need to be very true to themselves. We can all lie to ourselves. And as I said, you need to really listen to what makes you happy, what makes you wake up in the morning and be happy and be grateful that you have that job, that you have that calling, that you have that purpose in front of you. It's not going to be... I reached to this point after 2.5 years of very painful weekly commitment to myself, and not something that, okay, I wake up one day 1, and day 2, I created my own life. Absolutely not. I'm still in that journey, but you have to be committed to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a journey itself, and it's a very painful journey because many days, many weeks, many months, you actually don't know where you're going. So you have to be ready for that, because if you think that you can achieve everything in a second, well, that's not the case.
No, it's definitely not. No. It takes time. And sometimes you don't even have to look that far back to see how far you've come. You can look over the last week. Everyone thinks, oh, I need to look over the past 5 years of what I've done. No. How far have you come in 2 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
In a year?
The progress.
Progress,
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like that. I definitely feel like I had that realization recently while I was actually listening to your podcast interview. And it was basically, how far have you come in just have you sat down and actually taken a moment to actually celebrate the achievements that you've worked so hard to get under your belt? We don't give ourselves that credit.
No, and also we should celebrate only with certain people. Not everyone deserves, our own energy, because many people, they're not good people in general, so they want you to fail. So why do you need to celebrate your own success, your own progress with everybody? No, that's why, for example, in my case, I've started cutting people out because I truly want to preserve my energy only for the right people who are going to support me, who are going to protect me, who are going to elevate me, because I want to do the same for them.
Exactly. So you're saying is just listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that you know will always cheer you on.
Yes, absolutely. Elevation of the energy. So they vibrate at the same energy.
And one thing that I really, really appreciate that you talked about was having a good manager and a mentor. And I feel like you can also find a sponsor in the company. They don't have to be your direct line manager, but someone that you've built a relationship with. Could be a mentor, could be someone in a different department.
Absolutely.
Who is appreciative of the work you do, and write everything down.
Yeah.
All the things that you do at work, write everything down. So when you do have those conversations with your mentors and your sponsors and you are considered for a promotion, you've got everything there in front of you.
Absolutely.
We forget that, don't we? We focus on the negatives so much that we actually forget to celebrate or write down our little achievements. Like that bit of feedback that we got from our managers. So this has been great. Thank you so much, Cristina.
Thank you, Anum. Thank you very much.
And good luck with your radio interview tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that that's going forward, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And can't wait to read your book. Before we finish, though, I just wanted to touch. You've got a few reflection exercises in your book.
Yes.
So that could possibly help us with our journey?
Absolutely. Because at the end of every chapter, there are these reflection points, and I find it like it's my way, because all the 3 books are actually coming the same way. Because I think people sometimes, while they're reading, maybe they forget. So at the very end, just to have a few bullet points summarizing exactly those key takeouts, well, I think it's going to be like a tool for people to use. Yes.
Amazing. So I'm excited to finish the book.
Thank
I've
you.
definitely started it. And for anyone that's looking to find the light within themselves, I would definitely recommend this book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cristina.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into Playing the Next Level. I hope this episode helped you feel inspired and ready to level up. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts and join the conversation on Instagram at WCGA UAE and let us know your key takeaway. Remember, you're never alone in your journey. We're here cheering you on one step at a time. Until next time, keep playing to your next level.